This is not clickbait. This is the 7,000 rupee iPhone and this is real. This is the iPhone SE refurbished and we bought this because of one simple agenda. How does this 6-year-old iPhone that costs 7,000 rupees compare to low-end Android smartphones in the same price segment? The result is actually surprising, but this is a refurbished phone. So what do you do when you buy a refurbished phone? First, you check if it's a genuine product, and second, you check if it's in a fine working condition. So check the serial number on Apple's website and this is indeed a genuine iPhone. As for if it's in working condition or not, the buttons are fine, the mute switch works too, and this is actually in great condition. I mean, if you look closely and there's hardly any scratches or dents anywhere, be it on the back or the frame. It just looks brand new from all the angles. I also like the fact that all the functionality is working fine too. Wi-Fi on the phone works too, Bluetooth is working fine as well. I even put in a SIM card and calling and mobile data works flawlessly too. The iPhone SE also has the Touch ID which works without any issues, and this kind of makes me nostalgic about how good Touch ID was. Face ID will never be as convenient as this right on the front. The screen is fine too, it has a yellow tint on the top edge if you look very closely, but that kind of happens as your phones age. Other than that, there are no problems with the touch or the panel. Talking about the software, the phone came with iOS 11 by default, but there was the iOS 15.5 update available, so I installed it right away. Mind you, it is the latest stable iOS software and I'll come back to that in a bit. Now, I even downloaded apps from the App Store and tried them to see if there are any issues, but there wasn't. The speaker works, so does the cameras, and things like the earpiece are also working without any problems. The battery is at 83% health, kind of expected from an older phone, but there's no cut down on the performance. So this is a genuine iPhone and this is in a fine working condition, but the big question is iPhone SE versus Android phones. So I picked two Android phones in the under 10k budget segment, the Redmi 10A that costs 8.5k and the Realme C20 which costs 7.5k. Now if you just compare the specs, you'll see that the 6-year-old iPhone still beats these budget Android phones. The iPhone SE has the Apple A9 chipset, which even after all these years is still faster than the Snapdragon 439 and the Helio G35. Just look at the benchmark scores and you can see that it is way ahead of both the chipsets in both Antutu and Geekbench. It's not just the A9, the iPhone SE has the faster NVMe storage while the Android phones have the slow eMMC storage. Like the Android phones, the iPhone SE has a single camera, but the SE is a phone that's capable of shooting 4K 30fps videos when the budget Android phones are still stuck at 1080p. The front camera specs of the OG SE haven't aged very well, 1.2 megapixel camera, and the battery is also small, but this iPhone has the latest stable iOS update in iOS 15.5. The Android phones are stuck on older Android versions, and you know how it is on budget Android phones, these will probably not get Android 12. So yeah, the iPhone SE does seem better than the Android phones in the same price segment, and I wasn't really expecting the 6-year-old 7,000 rupee iPhone to do this well in terms of specs, but it's not just the specs. So this iPhone has got me interested because this brings an experience that Android phones under 10k just can't match. Number of reasons really. See, Android phones in this price range are generally very sluggish, but this 6-year-old iPhone still feels very smooth and usable all around, and that too with the latest iOS update. Even the cameras are very good. It's obviously no match to high-end phones now, but when compared to a budget phone, the single camera of the iPhone SE actually takes better photos. Another big factor is, unlike a 10k Android phone which has bloatware, adware and whatnot, this brings a very clean and premium sort of experience. Now obviously you might be thinking the screen is too small, and that's right, we are now used to big displays and the SE screen does feel a bit too small when typing or when gaming. Now there are iPhone 6 and iPhone 7 refurbished options available at higher prices if you want a bigger screen, but this is an iPhone at 7,000 rupees, so I really don't want to complain a lot. The point is, this rupees 7,000 iPhone is actually usable, and I can see myself recommending this to people who want a good phone under 10k. This is a refurbished phone, so I still have a little bit of a doubt on how it will work in the long run, but yes, right now I'm positive about this phone. See, personally, I've had this perception that refurbished phones are bad, but it's just surprising to see this iPhone actually working well. Maybe it's because it's an iPhone and iPhones are known to perform well in the long run, but yeah, this kind of changes my perception about cheap refurbished phones. Now, if you plan to buy a refurbished iPhone, we bought this from Flipkart, but I've seen some really good options on the Cashify store as well, and you can also check out the Amazon refurbished store. But I know refurbished phones can still be a bit risky, so wherever you buy it from, here's what you need to do. The first thing you need to do is check the return policy. Only buy the phone if you can return the phone in case it's not good enough or there is an issue. If there is a 7 days or 10 days return policy, it's fine. The next step, if you go ahead and buy the phone, when it arrives, make sure to check if the phone and the accessories are genuine. For example, in our case, the iPhone is genuine, but the charger and cable are duplicate, although they do work. Also, make sure everything is working and up to the mark according to you. Lastly, check the battery health and if the iPhone is on peak performance. So these are the points to consider. Now, I want to ask you this. Will you consider buying a refurbished iPhone, be it this or the 6S, 7, 8? Just comment down below what you think about refurbished iPhones. Also, give this video a like, make sure to share it, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tech videos. And do not forget that bell icon. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
5 iOS 16 features that Android really needs. You can just crop yourself from a picture with a long press and